Oh, yeah, there's a fence behind it.
What? 14 miles?
It's like how far we live from.
Look at all that. It's cool.
It's just like a people taking photographs, but on the left hand side now, as we go over the bridge in a moment, you will see the most gorgeous weir, and the odd time you'd see a salmon leap. So I'll go slow, there's no one behind me for a bit, but I can't stop obviously because there's only one way or single lane traffic on the bridge, so unfortunately I do have to move. So there's the canal. Most of it is overgrown, but the walk is really gorgeous. So here's the weir now. It's hard to know what to look at. You have the weir on one side and you have the mill on the other side. So it really is. And all the trees, give it another week guys if you want to come back on the tour. The trees will be even nicer there. Look at that, isn't that just magnificent? It is absolutely gorgeous. That is one of my favourite sights now, I have to say. It's always lovely to see the salmon leap there. So I better keep on moving or I'll be in trouble. There, look, they're already coming. So we keep going. Over on your left, there'll be lots of photos along now this next bit. Over on your left is the entrance to Slane Castle. Isn't that just beautiful? That's your proper castle entrance there. Isn't that just magnificent? The castle dates back to 1701. The Cunningham family live in there. Well, the current owner is Lord Mount Charles. I'll tell you a bit more about him as we go. God, that never happened before. I have a red light. I went so slow. So that's alright. No bother, once the handbrake holds, we shall be reasonably okay. So Slane, it's only a tiny little place, but it's an amazing place, steeped in history, as I say. There was a man who was here and he had 4 daughters. God love my 2. Actually, I have to say my daughters are fantastic. I'm very lucky to have them at the minute. So unlike that poor man, you can see there's an identical house on each corner. So these were built for the four daughters because they, yeah, you've guessed it, they hated each other so much they couldn't live in the same house. So they used to snarl at each other looking out the doors, hating the breath and every bit they looked at each other. They were horrible, horrible people. So thankfully they're all dead now, so that's good news. So that poor man had a lot to put up with there now, didn't he really? So the four houses, they still remain after the ladies have long since gone. So it's a very picturesque little town, I'm sure you will agree, it's really lovely. So the castle is at the heart of it all, the famous castle. Have a look to your left, some lovely pubs. Very, very nice place now, and you have the hotel as well, the old hotel. The Cunningham, you can see there, the name of the family who lived in the hotel, the Cunninghams. A very picturesque church coming up. Most villages in Ireland, it's a thing that you'll see. It'll usually imagine horse and carriages going in and out through the gate as we're looking in an air-conditioned bus. Yay. So we better keep going. There's a fella running up behind me now. He's lucky if he doesn't get me. So we keep going. The countryside around here, guys, is just beautiful, and you'll see the big estate now coming up on your left. So this is all part of the castle here. It's enormous, it really is. So Lord Mount Charles, he's a good guy. His great, that's four greats, his great grandmother was a Lady Cunningham, and she was a very popular lady altogether with the royalty. So now you might remember back when we were in Howth, and we were just leaving Howth, and I was telling you about the footsteps or the footprints at the end of the pier. Not too far from Krabby Joe's. So the two footprints belong to King George IV. Now King George IV, he was the last of the Georges, the last of the Georgian kings. We had King George the First, Second, Third and Fourth, and he was the last of them. So you might recall the Georgian periods and all the lovely Georgian houses we have in Dublin. So they were all built during the Georgian period, the time of the King Georges. So he was the last of them. So in 1821 he decided to pay a royal visit here to Ireland, and he was very excited to come over, of course, and delighted to be coming over to see the people. See the people. Well, he was on his way to see his mistress, Lady Cunningham. Now she was married, but that never stopped anyone. So being finding out. So anyway, he was on the way over. Now, do you think he would have been devastated at the death of his wife just a few days before his royal visit? Sure, there'd be no point going to the funeral, changing all the plans. So he didn't bother going to the funeral. He didn't like his wife very much. He didn't even have her at his ordination, so he didn't think much of her. As I say, he was in a hurry to come over and see his girlfriend, Lady Cunningham. Now the idea was that he would get the boat over from Britain, and in those days it would take about 20 hours. So that's long enough now to be getting drunk. He was fond of the drink. He was also fond of food. He had a 50-inch waist. He also loved to spend money, and he loved the ladies. What a guy he was. So anyway, he was on the way over. He was so drunk they couldn't let him off the boat over in Dunleary where he was supposed to go. So instead they sailed to Howth and tried to sober him up, put him in a horse and carriage, and brought him the rest of the way to Dunleary then after that. So good old King George IV. Next day a guy came along and chiseled his footprints into the granite rock at the end of the pier in Howth. So that's where we have the two footprints for King George IV to remember his royal visit. So over on your right there's a big estate, and there's estates like this all over Ireland. A little reminder of our past when of course we became part of Britain.
Ladies and gentlemen, Earno there and welcomes you on board. This is the 15:05 hour. Woodlawn.
View. We have the river just down to your right as well in the dip, and you can see the mill coming up. Isn't that picturesque? Isn't that lovely? Wow. The old mill there with the big chimney, it's no longer in use. It was used in the textile industry and used for other things after that, but you can also see the house attached to it. It's gorgeous. It's a big guest house now, so you can go and stay in there. It's really absolutely stunning bit of countryside around here. I'm sure you will agree. We're going to be crossing over the bridge and over the River Boyne. The bridge itself dates back to medieval times, and lots of the soldiers that escaped the battle came across this bridge. It's a very historic bridge. This whole area is steeped in history. Now there's a little canal you'll see first, and the canal is no longer in use, but you can walk along the canal, and there's a gorgeous walk that'll get you up as far as Navan. So that's a lovely walk. I've done it before.
evacuation notices. Please do not occupy pre-booked seats. Thank you for your attention and have a pleasant and comfortable journey.
Five bedrooms. What would you be doing with five bedrooms? Well, I should ask that question. Have five children, of course. If you didn't have five children at the start, you said you wouldn't have it well. So,
Exactly, and $1.4 million.
that'd be more my style now. On your left, a little cottage with a few flowers and a roof. Big, big garden. You love the garden. I come from a long line of gardeners. We all love our gardens. My father used to chop down trees. But my grandfather, he used to chop them up. So that's a bit confusing in our house. So just on your left, possibly a few
Grass caddies.
donkeys. Any sign? Oh, there we go. Gorgeous. Aw. They were gone missing for ages. Someone said they were off having an adventure with some guy called Shrek. I don't know. There was a documentary on. I remember watching Shrek 1. There was a documentary about a talking donkey. That was very interesting. True story, you know.
I like the ivy.
So down the hill we go. Look at that for a view through the front of the bus. That is Malahide and the Velvet Strand Beach close to it, where we had aviation history was made when a plane took off in 1930 from the Velvet Strand and headed over to Newfoundland in Canada. And 3 years later, another plane took off from the same beach. Straight ahead was there. That's the Velvet Strand Beach, you can see. Took off, and that was the first solo flight across the Atlantic over to Canada. So pretty impressive history of aviation from that area. Over to your right, between the gaps, you'll see two islands. Ireland's Eye is the one closest to us, and then Lambay Island is further off. Lambay is the largest island of the east coast. And Lambay Island, well, it came from nowhere really. It came from volcanic eruptions millions of years ago. So they found a quarry on the island, and ancient people used to go to that quarry and get arrowheads and spearheads, and they used to come from all over Europe. It was written about by the ancient Greeks. That's how old part of Ireland are. Never mind your Celts, there was people living here long, long before all of that.
We'll probably come here later.
The hotel over on your right, sadly, is closed. Sign of the times, people coming here for the day rather than the weekend. Now, if you do come back, there's a really good pub and restaurant coming up on your left where the white truck is. So the Abbey and the Loft, just here on your left. Great tradition of Irish music in that pub. Over on your left is the Abbey, St. Mary's Abbey. Now that was founded by the Vikings. King Sitrick the Silkenbeard, the same man responsible for Christchurch Cathedral. He ended up living on the island of Iona, little island off Scotland. And that's where they started writing the Book of Kells, was on Iona, and he ended up there as a monk. So the view through the front is not just fabulous now. You have the marina, you have the two islands. So the one nearest, that is Ireland's Eye, and then the one behind it in the distance, that is Lambay Island. Now Lambay got its name because the Vikings used to row across with the pregnant sheep in the boat, and the sheep would give birth on the island away from any predators. As I say, we used to have wolves, but not anymore. The red hot pokers, the plants sticking up there on your right, the flowers, aren't they gorgeous? I always love red hot pokers. It's a lovely plant. So and I'm gone on the rising tide for to face Van Diemen's Land. Now kings will roam and the poor will toil and tear their hands as they tear the soil. But this day may come in this dawning age when an honest man receives an honest wage. So hold me now, oh hold me now, till this hour has come around, and I'm gone on the rising tide for to face Van Diemen's Land. And there you go. You have to clap, otherwise I wouldn't keep going. There's no way to go along. Captive audience, couldn't go wrong, couldn't go wrong. So there we go, Sandell songs, all of our songs are Sand, as you say. So anyway, we'll keep going, we're not too far away from our destination now, and we'll be coming off this road. There's the field of sports now, over on your left, speaking of potatoes.
This is filming, so point straight up. There you go.
Get a. You definitely.
Produced crops here in Ireland, so these people became farmers, weaker people. So that was in Neolithic times, the New Stone Age. So a long history, colourful history, and an ancient history as well. So when we get to Tara, I'll tell you a bit more about our history there. Yeah, we've had lots of rebellions and lots of wars here in Ireland, which are always to do with us. Not too far from here we have the Battle of the Boyne, a very famous battle indeed. And as I say, it wasn't really anything to do with us, but basically what happened was we had King James II, he was the Catholic King of England, and he was knocked off his throne. He wasn't the Catholic King anymore, he wasn't the Protestant King, so his son-in-law, what you believe, was put on the throne, King William, or King Billy, King William of Orange. So things weren't so good. King James wasn't so happy about losing his crown, so we came here to Ireland where we had a lot of Catholic. Lots of country people believe in the power of the fairy trees. So not only would they never do any harm to a fairy tree, but they would usually slip away of an evening with a little wish, a little few words tied to a piece of linen, and they tie it to a branch of a fairy tree, and they hope then that their wishes will come true. So all around the country you have fairy trees. Over in the west of Ireland, I was reading there lately that the first roundabout we had in the country was the result of not wanting to move a fairy tree, so they went around the fairy tree instead. So whether you believe it or not now, people do. Most fairy trees would be hawthorn, spiky ones. Some people say that it was a hawthorn tree, that the crown of thorns when our Lord was crucified on the cross, and that was made from a hawthorn tree. My father doesn't believe any of this, of course. He knows everything. He does know a lot. But he would also be the first man to say, sure, you might as well believe it as go looking for the truth. And isn't that a wise thing to say? So who knows if it's true or not? You just never know. So the other reason this motorway was in trouble was because it cuts right across the path between the ancient place of Tara and another ancient place called Skryne. Now most people would agree that they're all part of the same ancient thing in our history. So when they decided to build a motorway, people weren't happy. So in 2007, we had a huge gang load of people, about 1,500 people came along regularly and occupied the area. And they'd get up to all sorts of things like making signs out of human bodies, if you know what I mean, forming the shape of, say, Save Tara Hill was one, or they made a big harp another time out of human bodies, all that kind of thing. Just to get attention. In 2009, it certainly caught the attention of the Smithsonian Institute, a very famous institute, and they recognised the importance of this area, Tara, that we're going to, and they reckoned it was one of the endangered cultural ancient places that you should go and visit. There was 15 of them in the world back then in 2009, and they reckoned it was worth a visit, so that certainly caught the world's attention then, Tara.
That's what our parking lot on my work is, so if I can see
Well, the Stark family guys want to have lunch, take a look down there, Dad. Look at all that. Pretty cool, huh? Now, one thing's a bridge. Walk down there with Ian. We can eat at Eddie Rockets, the Eddie Rocket for lunch yet? Or not really?
And inside people could sleep, and most important, they would take animals, whatever animals they would have for them. It's just a circle, and on the outside you would have water, like a moat, presently because of the trees and all that.
Down the middle of the street.